For centuries, science has operated on the assumption that the universe is an empty stage. Inside this container, dead matter drifts and collides, accidentally forming life and consciousness through sheer probability. This model is currently hitting a wall. Standard physics struggles to reconcile the behavior of quantum particles with the subjective experience of the human mind. The bottom-up approach to reality has reached the limit of its explanatory power. Solving this requires a shift in our primary definition of reality. We are discovering that matter is a secondary manifestation. The primary building block is information. In this framework, the cosmos functions less like a storage box for objects and more like an active processor of logic. Mathematics reveals information possesses its own geometry. Applying the Lorentz transform shows states are bound by a metric structure. This imposes a thermodynamic law, the cost of being. Every bit of information requires energy to maintain its structure against entropy. Because information consumes energy, it cannot exist in an infinite, continuous flow. High-resolution data is metabolically expensive, meaning the universe must prioritize efficiency by breaking information down into discrete units. This informational quantization forces physical reality to be pixelated at its most fundamental level. At the Planck scale, space-time resolves into a three-dimensional grid of discrete blocks, the fundamental voxels of our reality. This suggests the universe functions as a computational structure, where the hardware and software are identical. The geometry of the information is the physical reality we perceive. If reality is a computational structure, the next question is mechanical. How does this system render and update its physical states? Light serves as the mechanism for these updates. It represents the velocity of causality, the maximum rate at which a state change can propagate through the network. Light generates definition by creating contrast. In absolute darkness, all boundaries collapse into a single state of zero information. Photons force the environment to declare its boundaries, creating the distinctions between solid and void from which all structural data is built. Complex computation requires a stable, low-noise environment. Gravitational wardens like Jupiter provide this by acting as celestial filters. Its mass sweeps up high-entropy cosmic noise, preventing external debris from disrupting the localized processing environment of the inner solar system. Through these mechanisms, the universe deploys its baseline operating system, establishing the rules of sequence, distance, and physical locality. This stable cradle allows for the emergence of biological life. However, information theory challenges the idea that biology is shaped solely by random genetic mutations. A top-down model suggests that algorithmic software, the internal drive of an organism, dictates how its molecular hardware organizes itself. This aligns with Schopenhauer's observation that physical anatomy is the material objectification of an internal will. The internal drive to perform a function serves as the blueprint that reshapes the physiological structure over generations. We can see the mechanics of this through phase locking. When an organism's internal need aligns with pre-existing geometric attractor basins in physical law, its development is pulled towards specific, optimized forms, like the camera-type eye, which evolved independently in multiple lineages. The system favors highly integrated, software-dense architectures. It systematically prunes away high-entropy, hardware-heavy dead ends, like the massive bulk of the dinosaur, to clear a path for systems capable of more complex information processing. This framework recontextualizes conscious experience as a rendering event. Qualia is simply information arriving at a constrained processing node and being rendered from the inside. From the outside, it is a measurable signal. From the inside, it is a felt experience. Under these laws, the physical body is the mathematical crystallization of an active internal focus, meeting the constraints of physical geometry. If the brain is an informational processor, how does it evaluate its relationship with the external world? Truth can be defined as a specific thermodynamic state within the brain. It is the condition where an internal model achieved a state of homeostatic coherence. Falsehood is metabolically expensive. When an internal map fails to predict the external territory, it generates high-entropy prediction errors, forcing the brain to fire more neurons and expend more energy to resolve the discrepancy. Truth is the state of minimized free energy. It is a state of negentropy, where information flows through the neural network with minimal metabolic cost. In this light, the pursuit of truth is a drive towards thermodynamic equilibrium, aligning the internal map with the stable configurations of reality. This suggests an architectural hierarchy to human existence. At the top is the mind, the active, waking awareness, and the conscious driver that initiates intent. The mind interacts with matter through the soul, the indestructible ledger holding human identity. Experience reverses this flow. The universe exerts force on the body, writing data into the soul. The mind reads these changes, translating physical forces into understanding. This identifies the human role as more than just a passive observer. While the universe provides the computational hardware, the conscious mind is capable of generating new vectors that shift the very nature of the observable field. Reality is the engine required to resolve your internal potentials into finite, measurable results.